All right, ladies and gentlemen, apologize for the delay. Technical difficulties as the laptop decided to do its own update. We're here live, bottom of the fourth inning. San Mateo Bulldogs are the home team for Game 2 of this best-of-3 NorCal Super Regional Playoff Series. And for those of you just tuning in, base hit by the number 9 batter, Cole Gabrielson through the left side, plated Anthony Flores, who had doubled with 2 outs to tie the game. So we're 2-2, bottom of the fourth, runners on second and third. No balls, 2 strikes. The leadoff man, Christian Ontai. And the fastball from Ryan Costu in his fourth inning of work is high and outside, ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Line score for the visiting Panthers, 2 runs, 6 hits, 1 error. For the home team, the Bulldogs, 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 error. Again, this is the bottom of the fourth, Game 2 of this best-of-3 NorCal Regional Series, in which the Bulldogs lead by winning yesterday's game 3-2. A high fly ball to Daniel Walsh in shallow right field. He's under it for the catch, and the side's retired. But the Bulldogs get a run on 2 hits, 1 error. 2 runners left on base. We're tied 2-2. We're headed to the top of the fifth. So for the Panthers in the top half of the fifth inning, it'll be 2, 3, 4. Galati, Signs, and Wheeler due up, facing Jamie Kruger of the Bulldogs. Kruger back out to work his fifth inning. And fastball hits the outside part of the plate, called strike 1. So Galati hits the reset button. He's back in there. The 0-1 pitch is a slider, swung on and missed by Galati. And Kruger had no balls, 2 strikes. Kruger, the workhorse on the Bulldog staff, threw 84 and a third. The number 2 horse in that 2-horse race for the Bulldogs. As yesterday's starter Prozel came in with 82 innings, he finishes now with 88. But Kruger has once again taken the lead with his 4 innings here in the books. The 1-2 pitch to Galati, breaking ball in the dirt, blocked by Carnazzo. And the count's even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Galati 1 for 2 this afternoon. Singled his first time up. Struck out swinging back in the third. And here he is leading off the top half of the fifth inning. Fastball out and away. Count full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Leadoff man this inning for Galati. In the on-deck circle, the 3-hitter in the order, catcher Kevin Signs. Kruger looks in. He has his sign. The full count pitch hit up the middle by Galati. Shortstop has to dive, loses his feet. And it'll be an infield single for Anthony Galati. So base hit up the middle off the bat of Galati. Outside fastball, he flipped up the middle. The shortstop, Ackerman, was playing over towards the 5-6 hole. Was able to get to the ball, but then lost his footing. He ran such a long way to get there, and the ball hard hit. And unable to pop to his feet. Actually threw from his knees over to first base. But Galati had already arrived safely the 90 feet down the line. So infield singles start the top of the fifth in a 2-2 tie between the number 7 seeded Bulldogs of San Mateo and the host, number 4 seeded Sacramento City College Panthers. 1-0 pitch upcoming to Signs. Long look by Kruger. There's a fastball up out of the zone, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Signs 0 for 2 this afternoon. Struck out swinging his first at bat. Flew out to the left fielder, deep down the left field line. Probably a step and a half, maybe 2 steps in front of the fence. The count 2 balls, no strikes. And a fastball in there as Signs held up on the swing, but it was a called strike by home plate umpire Brian Rose. Two balls, 1 strike. Kruger sets. The pitch, fastball outside on the block, called strike 2. Kruger a long look into Carnazzo, his catcher for the sign. Conservatively over at first base by Galati. Set of the chest by Kruger. The 2-2 pitch. Hit right back up the middle. Kruger got a little bit of leather on it, but able to get his body out of the way as the ball goes up the middle for a base hit by Signs. And that'll bring up the cleanup man, TJ Wheeler, as the Panthers are in business here to start the top of the 5th. 2 singles to start the frame by Galati and Signs. So Galati at second base. Wheeler, the batter, Signs down at first base. Wheeler has his sign from Coach Sullivan. Cleanup batter. Your initial thought is they're probably not going to bunt, but Wheeler does in fact show that he's going to sacrifice as Kruger steps off and wants the sign sequence again from his shortstop to see how they're going to play the looks and the bunt rotation here. Wheeler 1 for 2 this afternoon, a single his first time through, struck out swinging his last time. And the pitch by Kruger is bunted by Wheeler straight back to the pitcher's mound. His only play is to first base on the 1-4 sacrifice as Wheeler does his job and moves up Galati and Signs 90 feet each. And that'll bring up the number 5 batter, second baseman number 15, Daniel Walsh. So here comes the second baseman, number 15, Daniel Walsh. Walsh 0 for 2 here this afternoon. Had a couple clutch hits in yesterday's ball game. The 1-2 out, 2 RBI single up the middle that gave the Panthers the 2-1 lead at the time. Had another base hit to start the 9th, but was stranded at second base as the game came to an end. But here another opportunity, golden opportunity for Walsh to help the Panthers jump back on top and break the 2-2 tie with the Bulldogs. And the Bulldogs won game one of this best of three NorCal Super Regional yesterday by a score of 3-2. We're here in the top of the fifth. The Panthers batting. They are the visitors for this game. And what is a 2-2 tie? The pitch by Kruger is a breaking ball off the plate. Ball one. Walsh back in the box. Kruger going through his signs with his catcher, Carnazzo. Sets at the chest. No check of the runners. The pitch. And a bunt attempt by Walsh. Looked like he was going to push that towards the 3-4 side of the field between the first and second baseman, but instead fouls the ball straight back, and the count runs even. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kruger sets the 1-1 pitch upcoming to Walsh. Another sweeping breaking ball way outside. Carnazzo out of his crouch to save it and prevent the wild pitch. In the on-deck circle waiting his turn, the designated hitter, Jack Scurfield. Eight hits now in the game for the Panthers. 2 in the first, 1 in the third, 3 in the fourth where they scored their 2 runs, and 2 thus far here in the fifth. 2-1 pitch by Kruger to Walsh. It's a fastball right down Broadway, swung and foul tipped into Carnazzo's glove for strike 2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kruger sets at the chest. The pitch is a breaking ball. Hit down the third base line by Walsh. Third baseman's only play is to first, and Walsh legs it out. Signs unable to advance. Galati scores, and the Panthers take the lead on a breaking ball that Walsh was out in front of, but was able to chop and beat into that grass. Finally came down. The third baseman realized it was going to be a fair ball. And Torres' only play was at first base at that point, but Walsh had legged it out. Another infield single, the Panthers lead, and here comes Scurfield. So not as big in terms of the distance of yesterday's clutch hit by Walsh, but clutch nonetheless. Some 47 feet down the third baseline. And now Walsh at first, signs again unable to advance, is still at second base. So first and second, 1 out as the breaking ball misses to Scurfield. 1 ball, no strikes. Scurfield 0 for 2 here this afternoon with a strikeout and a ground out to the pitcher, Kruger. Kruger, a 2.89 earned run average on the season, 7 wins, 4 defeats in those 84 1/3 innings. Allowed just 57 hits against 75 strikeouts. Panthers have 9 against Kruger here this afternoon. And a fastball up out of the zone, ball 2. Count in Scurfield's favor. Five strikeouts here this afternoon for Kruger. His success has been on getting ahead of the batters and then expanding the zone and making the Panther hitters chase or have to protect. But when he falls behind like this, the Panthers turn the tables and they've been the beneficiaries of the successful at-bats. As the fastball's in there, catches the inside part of the plate, strike one. 2 balls, 1 strike to Skurfield. Brody Garner, the Panthers' third baseman, awaits his turn in the on-deck circle. Garner 1 for 2 with a single and scored a run on a throwing error by the right fielder that went out of play as Garner went first to third on a single that chopped over the first baseman Haberern's head. This ball sent out to left center field. Flores is there under it. Calls off the left fielder Ontai for the second out of the inning. And that'll bring up Brody Garner. So third baseman number 16, Brody Garner, steps into the box. Garner a chance to add to this Panthers lead as the Panthers have scored 1 already here in the top of the 5th and lead the Bulldogs 3-2. Again, the Panthers the visiting team for Game 2 of this 3-game NorCal Super Regional Playoff Series. Kruger checks on signs at second base. The pitch is a breaking ball down the dirt, blocked nicely by Carnazzo. But 1 ball issued to Garner. Kruger sets at the chest. The pitch. Fastball down, ball 2. Kruger going over the signs at second base with J.J. Oda, his second baseman, in terms of how many looks they'll want to hold signs. Signs out at second. Walsh at first. The 2-0 pitch. Fastball hit down the third base line, past the diving Torres, off his glove. That'll score signs for sure. Walsh have to hold at third as the throw goes into second, and Garner's in there with the 2-out double, and the Panthers add to that lead. They now lead the Bulldogs 4-2 as the left fielder Maimu Kobayashi comes to the plate. So a 2-0 clutch double by Garner down the third baseline. Torres dove, had an attempt at it. Was only able to get the glove on it as it deflected down the left field line and caromed off the short fence here at Union Stadium. And Garner had himself an easy double. Walsh goes first to third and Signs scores on the play. Breaking ball, first pitch to Kobayashi is a called strike 1. Kruger back out of the stretch. So 2 in the 4th for the Panthers, 2 here in the 5th for the Panthers. They lead the Bulldogs 4-2 as Kruger winds. The pitch is a fastball down. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kobayashi back in the box, ready to go to work. Kruger a check on the runner at third before he winds, and the 1-1 pitch is a breaking ball inside as Kobayashi backs out of the way as that ball stayed in, arm side from the right-hander Kruger. And the count 2 balls, 1 strike. Kobayashi 1 for 2 here this afternoon. Had that single, the big chopper that went over the first baseman Haberern's head. That's the one that Garner went first to third. And the throw by the right fielder, Gabrielson, sailed over the fence by the Bulldogs dugout down the third baseline. Another breaking ball, this one outside. Carnazzo does another nice job of sliding over to keep it in front, and the count is 3-1 to Kobayashi. In the on-deck circle, Nick McClary. Right now, leverage count for Kobayashi, the 3-1 pitch upcoming. Again, a check on the runner at third before Kruger winds. The 3-1 pitch is swung on and missed. A fastball inside. So that ball just ran in on Kobayashi, and he had to fly open and was able to get the bat on it. Now the count's full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runners at second and third, 2 outs. Kobayashi, 10 RBIs on the season, looking for number 11 and 12 right here as he spoils another inside fastball. Again, Kruger running it hard in on Kobayashi's hands. Kobayashi able to fight that one off and get the bat on it. Count remains full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Again, we apologize for the late start here as the laptop, which controls our live feed, decided it wanted to do about a 2.5-hour update. So nevertheless, we're here, we're live, and that ball is fouled over to the Child Center here at Sacramento City College. For those of you that are familiar with the campus, Kobayashi turned on that one. Count remains full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Kruger winds. The full count pitch once again. Fastball flipped out into right center field by Kobayashi. That's RBI number 11 as Walsh comes in to score. RBI number 12 as Garner crosses the plate. And Kobayashi delivers a full count, 2 out base hit that plates 2 runs. And the Panthers have scored 4. They lead by 4. The score 6-2 here in the top of the 5th inning. That brings up shortstop Nick McClary. And that brings out head coach of the Bulldogs, Doug Williams, to talk to his pitcher. And 6 runs and 11 hits. No signal yet to the bullpen. And now he looks over and points. Bulldogs are going to the pen. We'll be right back after this pitching change. The Panthers leading the Bulldogs 6-2. So for the Bulldogs, it'll be right-handed pitcher number 50, Zach Button, coming in. Freshman right-hander, 6'1", 215 from San Mateo and Sarah High. He inherits Kobayashi at first base. He'll be facing the number 9 batter in the order, shortstop number 12, Nick McClary. So can't close the book on Kruger just yet, as he's responsible for Kobayashi out at first base. McClary 1 for 1 this afternoon, was hit by a pitch in the third and singled in the fourth as he steps in to face Button. And before that first pitch to McClary, check on Kobayashi at first. He's back in safely. So no update yet from the Santa Rosa Los Modanos game. Los Modanos upset the Bear Cubs yesterday in game 1 of that series. But there's no updates. That game started at 2 o'clock, so should be close to the end of that game. Showing in the bottom of the 6th, Fresno City leading Ohlone 4-2. And in the bottom of the 8th, the top-seeded Mustangs lead Cosumnes River 10-4. Another check on Kobayashi. So 1 ball, no strikes to McClary. Bulldogs worry about Kobayashi over there at first base. Check of Kobayashi's line. Just 6 stolen bases, caught twice. As fastball is in there, strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. I will throw out a disclaimer on those updates at the NorCal Regionals. There is a situation where the host team is the visitors in game 2, and sometimes the live updates will be reversed. So this is what I'm showing right now. The Mustangs leading the Hawks 10-4. That's San Joaquin Delta over Cosumnes River, and Fresno City leading Ohlone. We'll be sure to update you once those go final. Breaking ball is in there, called strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And the reason I say that, because on our update on the 3C2A site, the Panthers still show as the home team. The score is correct, 6-2. Even though we're the visitors, there's a code you do in the live stats program. However, the other games, Cosumnes is showing it as the home team, and they're not the host, as well as Fresno City. So we'll keep an eye on those, but for now, we'll call them as I see them. As that foul tip goes into the glove of Carnazzo, and that's the end of the inning. But the Panthers get 4 runs and now lead the Bulldogs 6-2. So for the Panthers, back out to work, Ryan Costu, now in his 5th inning of work. And he'll be facing 2, 3, 4, Oda, Carnazzo, and Torres of the Bulldogs. Panthers are visitors here, so we're bottom 5. Panthers scoring 2 in the 4th, 4 in the top of the 5th. They lead the Bulldogs 6-2. Bulldogs got 1 on a wild pitch in the 1st. They got 1 back in the 4th on an RBI by Gabrielson that scored Flores. After the foul ball, the next pitch by Costu is called ball. 1 ball, 1 strike to the Bulldogs' second baseman, Oda. Oda 0 for 1 was hit his first time through, struck out looking back in the 3rd. And that one misses outside, ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. DeWine. The pitch by Costu is fouled straight back into the plexiglass here at Union Stadium. And the count's even. 2 balls, 2 strikes. DeWine by Costu. The pitch. Fastball that Oda is late. Wheeler way over in front of Walsh at second, and airmails one over Costu's head. And Oda aboard on the air by Wheeler. Wheeler went to flip that one to Costu, and it just kept sailing on him. Costu had no chance at that, and Oda aboard on the air by Wheeler. That brings up Danny Carnazzo, the Bulldogs catcher. That's one of those you wonder if Walsh might have had a play, as Wheeler ended up fielding it right in front of him. Ball not hit very hard, so no guarantee Walsh would have had him. But Wheeler had to stop his momentum going towards second base, plant, and throw back across his body to Costu, who was covering first on the play. Costu had no balls, 1 strike to the catcher, Carnazzo. Foul ball into the net. Count no balls, 2 strikes. Well, the Panthers softball team hosting number 5 Sierra College, and they were routed by the Wolverines today 9-1. That best of 3 Super Regional will conclude tomorrow with Game 2 of the series at 12 noon. Panthers need to win there to force a third and decisive game approximately 45 minutes after the conclusion of the noon game tomorrow, that game being played at the Yard, also here on the campus of Sacramento City College. 0-2 pitches outside, ball 1. One ball, 2 strikes. Costu looks into signs. Has what he's looking for. Sets at the belt. The 1-2 pitch. There's a changeup outside, just missed. Carnazzo able to hold up. And the count's even. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fastball fouled into the netting here above the Panthers dugout on the first base side of Union Stadium. And the count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes. Costu sets the 2-2 pitch. Sprayed out into right field. Going back and now coming in. Galati fires the first. And back in safely is Oda. And the first out is a line drive to Galati in right field. That brings up the third baseman, Justin Torres. First pitch by Costu just misses. Ball 1. Costu sets to the belt. Not much of a lead by Oda over at first. The pitch swung on and fouled at the plate by Torres. So the count even 1-1 strike. Again, we apologize for the late start here as the laptop that we run the live stream from decided to do a Windows 10 update on its own. And I kid you not, folks, that update started at 1 o'clock and went until about 4:30. So apologize for that. Off the end of the bat to the second baseman, Walsh. It skips away, and the Panthers unable to get it out as it looked like a potential double play. Definitely should have had the lead runner. But instead, that ball cued off the end of the bat, had a funny spin, and Walsh unable to pick it up as it squirted over towards McClary, and both runners safe as Oda slides into second base. That brings up the shortstop, Ackerman. So great pitch by Costu. Had Torres out in front of it and just caught the end of the bat. And it had that weird spin. And Walsh unable to hold on to it. So 2 errors in the inning by the Panthers. 1 by Wheeler, 1 now by Walsh. It's one of those where Walsh will tell you should have had it probably too quick with Oda and the ball not hit that hard. Oda bearing down on him, trying to get the ball over to McClary as quickly as possible, but was unable to handle it. Check on Oda at second. The pitch is a breaking ball in there, called strike 1 to Ackerman. So throwing error by Wheeler, a fielding error by Walsh here in the bottom of the 5th, and the Bulldogs first and second, 1 out, as that one is swung on and fouled straight back by Ackerman, and the count 0-2 to the Bulldogs shortstop. Costu sets the 0-2 pitch upcoming to Ackerman. A long look in, and a fastball in on the hands, fouled into the stands on the first base side of Union Stadium. So the count remains 0-2 strikes. 1 out. The pitch, fastball, and it hits Ackerman. As Ackerman heads down to first base and signs pleading his case that Ackerman put his elbow in, but that fastball ran inside tight, and now the bases are loaded. A couple errors and a hit by a batter as the DH Cole Sperling comes to the plate. First fastball to Sperling is a called strike 1. So Panthers have got themselves into a jam here as the Bulldogs have the bases loaded. Started out with a throwing error by Wheeler on a soft hit ball over towards second base. And he overthrew Costu covering first. After the line out to the right fielder, a squibber off the end of the bat to Walsh was mishandled, and the runners were safe. And then a hit by pitch to Ackerman on an 0-2 pitch. And the bases loaded here. And Costu behind, 2 balls, 1 strike to Cole Sperling, the designated hitter. Sperling 0 for 2 this afternoon. Flew out in foul territory to Kobayashi down the left field line in the first. And hit into a double play. 3-6-1 back in the fourth. And here he bats in the fifth with the bases loaded, 1 out. Costu sets. The pitch is sprayed out to left field by Sperling. That's going to fall in front of Kobayashi as 1 run comes in. And right behind him is Torres. And the Bulldogs get 2 back just like that with a swing of the bat as Sperling delivers. And that brings out head coach Derek Sullivan. And the Panthers are going to make a pitching change. We'll step away and be right back. Panthers still lead 6-4 here in the bottom of the 5th. So the Panthers call on number 45, TJ Smith, to get them back into the dugout. Still just 1 out, first and second for the Bulldogs. And the number 7 batter, Anthony Flores, stepping in. TJ Smith, a .411 earned run average, 5-3, 5 wins, 3 losses, and 35 innings of work during the regular season. Breaking ball is in there, called strike 1. Flores doubled and scored back in the fourth, last inning, and lined out to the center fielder in the second. So he's 1 for 2 here this afternoon. And a check on the batter at first base, and the first base umpire, Rick Shaw, says yes, he did. So Flores unable to hold up. And the breaking ball that bit hard into the dirt, Sign's able to keep it in front of him and ensure that the batters do not advance. The 0-2 pitch by Smith is a fastball straight over the top. Hit to center field, chasing Sayre back. He's got it. And unable to tag is Ackerman at second base as this throw comes back into a diving McClary. So 2 outs. Brings up the first baseman, Haberern. So hard contact by Flores, but to straightaway center field. Chase Sayre back a little bit. But that's not the part of the field that you want to try to hit it out of. That's for sure. Union Stadium, 415 to center field. That one might have been hit 395. But plenty of room out there for Sayre to run, who has good speed. He had to go back a little bit to his left, but not much. Actually didn't have good momentum through the ball. I thought Ackerman might try to test his arm, but Sayre fired it back in as Ackerman remained on second base. Smith behind, 1 ball, no strikes to Haberern as this one's fouled. Stays fair down the right field line as Wheeler grabs it. But the Bulldogs get 2. We're headed to the top of the 6th inning. The Panthers lead 6-4. So for the Panthers here in the top half of the 6th inning, be top of the order, Sayre, Galati, and Signs. Panthers already leading the Bulldogs by 2, 6-4. Sayre 1 for 3 this afternoon, a strikeout, single in the third, single here in the 6th, now 2 for 4, and lined out in the 4th. So Sayre, as usual, not wasting any time, jumps on the first pitch he sees. Zach Budden still out there. This is his first full inning of work as he came into relief last half inning. So that brings up the right fielder, number 30, Anthony Galati. Galati 2 for 3 this afternoon. And Galati digs in. Sayre, good speed at first base. Budden was keeping an eye on Kobayashi last half. He'll be sure to keep an eye on Sayre and right on point. Throw over to first base. No tag applied by Haberern as Sayre back in plenty of time safely. Sayre 14 stolen bases now. Caught 3 times. Healthy lead down at first base. Budden sets at the belt. The pitch. It's a fastball. Just does hit the black on the outside part of the plate. And Galati does not agree with that. Home plate umpire Brian Rose had given those to the Bulldogs starter Kruger when he had got ahead and shown command and was able to expand the zone. But here with Zach Budden in relief, Rose stays consistent with it. Definite pitcher's pitch. Not what Galati was looking for. First pitch of his at bat anyways. He's looking for something he can drive. But he just needs to foul that in the back of his mind should he get to a 2-strike count that he will have to protect on that pitch again. Another check on Sayre, back in safely, no tag. As the big right-hander has his sign. Checks on Sayre, comes set. The 0-1 pitch is a changeup, and that one is outside on the black as well, called strike 2. So a fastball on the black away that Galati didn't like, and now a changeup on the black away. And he's equally as displeased on that pitch. So now 0-2. What does Budden do? He's probably going to go farther outside. Try to get Galati to chase, as he does have to swing the bat and protect now. Cover the outside part of that plate. Budden's pitch. High fastball instead. Out of the zone, ball 1. So let's see what Zach Budden decides to come back with. Will they try to tilt Galati with another off-speed pitch down? Will they stay away firm, soft away? Let's see how they play it here. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And let's see if the Panthers choose to put Sayre in motion. And Sayre is indeed running foul back into the netting here as Galati battles and stays alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count remains. Sayre had a good jump on that, but Galati doesn't have the luxury of allowing him to swipe a bag with a 2-strike count. He has to protect himself here. So Sayre retreats back to first base. We'll reset it, do it again. 1 ball, 2 strikes, no outs. Top of the 6th inning, Panthers leading game 2 of this NorCal Super Regional Best of 3 series. 6-4, they do trail the series 1-0. So the Panthers need a win here to force a decisive game 3 tomorrow, which would start at 1 p.m. here at Union Stadium. And time called by Galati. As the battery for the Bulldogs unable to get on the same page. And now Budden attempted to come set quickly as Galati still had his head down, getting into the box, and the home plate umpire resets it. So here we go, 1-2. Sayre off and running again. High changeup out of the zone, and Sayre swipes second base. And the count's 2 balls, 2 strikes. So with the left-handed hitting Galati, don't know what the hesitation was by Carnazzo, if he just didn't see Sayre out of the corner of his eye running, or if he had to make sure he caught that high changeup as he came up out of his crouch. Nonetheless, Sayre advances 90 feet. He's at second base. 2-2 count to Galati, the 2-man in the Panthers order. Nobody out here, top of the 6th inning. Panthers lead 6-4. And a big breaking ball swung on a miss by Galati for the first out of the inning, and that brings up the catcher, Kevin Sines. So Kevin Sines the batter. Signs 1 for 3 here this afternoon. Singled last inning and scored. And a big swing and a big miss by Signs on the first offering from Zach Budden. So the right-hander in relief for the Bulldogs has faced 3 batters. Surrendered the single to Sayre to lead off this top of the 6th, and has struck out the other 2 batters he's faced, Galati and McClary. McClary to end the 5th. And another swing and a miss as Budden is ahead. No balls, 2 strikes. Fastball by Budden is fouled off by Signs directly back over the press box here at Union Stadium. And the count remains no balls, 2 strikes. Zach Budden looks in. Sets, checks on Sayre at second base. The pitch is a breaking ball, just misses outside, says home plate umpire Brian Rose. And the count 1 ball, 2 strikes. Signs ready to go. Back to battle with a 1-2 count now. And the pitch is a fastball outside. Carnazzo does a good job of grabbing it. Count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. But and again, a long look into Carnazzo for the sign. Check on Sayre at second. And an off-speed pitch that Signs is out in front of and fouls it out of play down the left field line. Sayre bluffed like he was going to go that time. Didn't have the full head of steam like he did when he was going to steal second. So more of a fake break. Trying to cause some action there. Count still 2 balls, 2 strikes to Signs. Cleanup hitter TJ Wheeler awaits his turn in the on-deck circle. Budden the pitch. Fastball outside half the plate, called strike 3. As Signs goes down looking for the second out. And now Budden's 3rd strikeout in 4 batters. So cleanup man TJ Wheeler. Breaking ball misses high, ball 1. Sayre good speed at second base. Base hit should score him. As Wheeler steps out as the catcher Carnazzo is staring down his dugout to get the sign. Budden has the sign from Carnazzo. Check on Sayre at second base. The pitch, another breaking ball and another ball. 2 balls, no strikes. To the left-handed hitting first baseman for the Panthers, TJ Wheeler. High fly ball by Wheeler to shallow center field. Underneath is the shortstop Ackerman for the third out of the inning. So the Panthers unable to do anything with the leadoff hit by Sayre as we head to the bottom of the sixth. Panthers still leading the Bulldogs 6-4. So the first pitch from TJ Smith to the Bulldogs 9-batter Cole Gabrielson is a ball. 9-1-2 due up for the Bulldogs here in the bottom of the sixth, trailing 6-4. And the second pitch by Smith is also a ball. 2 balls, no strikes. So final score down in Stockton. The top-seeded Mustangs beat Cosumnes River 11-7 and advance to next weekend's NorCal finals. Smith winds the 2-0 pitch. There's a fastball in there called strike one. Fresno City leading Ohlone in the top of the ninth, 6-2. In Southern California, the top seeded Orange Coast has advanced to the SoCal finals, as well as the number 4 seed Glendale. El Camino and Cypress will play a decisive third game tomorrow, as Cypress won today's game 2-1. In the other SoCal game, Mount San Antonio College currently leading Riverside 8-5 in the bottom of the sixth. Mount Sac leading that series 1-0. The 3-1 pitch by Smith is a called strike two, and the count's full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And ball 4 issued by Smith as Gabrielson heads down to first base on the free pass. That brings up the leadoff man, Christian Ontai. Ontai 0 for 2 here this afternoon, did walk and scored that first run of the ball game on a wild pitch in the bottom of the first for the Bulldogs. And bats here in the bottom of the sixth with a runner on first base and nobody out. TJ Smith out of the stretch. Conservative lead by Gabrielson at first base, and breaking ball misses outside, ball 1. Fastball just misses outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Smith sets the 2-0 pitch, fouled out of play by the leadoff man, Christian Ontai. So the count 2 balls, 1 strike. Pitch by Smith is a fastball, again just off the plate away, says the home plate umpire, Brian Rose. Those look pretty close to the ones that were called strikes last half inning against Galati. Ontai also a left-handed hitting batter, but these ones go in favor of the Bulldogs. That ball is beaten to the ground to Walsh. Walsh on to McClary at second. Over to first. Ontai is out as well. Double play, 4-6-3. Big double play by TJ Smith on a 3-1 pitch that Ontai beat into the ground to Walsh. Walsh made sure he fielded that one cleanly before he got it over to McClary that time. And McClary fired on to Wheeler at first base to record the second out. That brings up the second baseman, J.J. Oda. So the leadoff walk erased on the double play, and that brings up second baseman J.J. Oda. Nobody aboard, 2 outs as Smith back into the windup. And the fastball is high out of the zone. So bottom of the 6th, Bulldogs batting. They're the home team here in game 2 of this 3-game set. Fastball is in there on the outside part of the plate, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike. For the Panthers in the top of the 7th, it'll be Walsh, Scurfield, and Garner, the scheduled batters. The 1-1 pitch is a breaking ball outside. Signs tries to frame it, but it just missed off the plate. Two balls, 1 strike. Fastball is high, out of the zone, ball 3. And so TJ behind Oda, 3 balls, 1 strike. After a walk to calm the nerves and hit the reset button, TJ Smith back into the windup. 3-1 pitch is a breaking ball, and Oda half swing at it, unable to hold up. Oda fooled by that breaking ball from Smith, as that was a leverage count 3-1. He should be sitting on a fastball, and the bottom just dropped out of that breaking ball. And now the count full. The pitch fouled down the right field line. That one will get out of play onto the cages here at Union Stadium down the right field line. Count remains full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Full count pitch by Smith. Fastball beating the ground, 1 hopper. Smith flips over to Wheeler. He's up, applies the tag. No, says the first base umpire. He called Wheeler off the base, and now Coach Sullivan's going to come out and undoubtedly ask for an appeal, as there was no acknowledgement whether there was a tag or not by the first base umpire, Rick Shaw, and now he calls the crew together. And I got to believe this one will be overturned, as his call was just no, he was off the bag, and I think he was shielded off from Wheeler when the tag was applied to Oda. And now the call is reversed and correct, as the tag was applied by Wheeler, and so one almost got away from TJ Smith. but Wheeler able to apply the tag. And that's the third out, and Doug Williams, head coach for the Bulldogs, now wants to go out and talk to Rick Shaw. And on the way there, stopped to talk with home plate umpire Brian Rose. Also got a word from his first base coach, but nonetheless, he's all the way out to Rick Shaw, as Rick Shaw recognizes and now comes back in to discuss the call. We'll take a break, as I don't believe this one is going to get overturned again, and the Panthers lead 6-4. We're headed to the top of the seventh inning. So as expected, the call is held up on the 1-3 putout to end the bottom of the sixth inning. And now top of the seventh, leading things off for the Panthers, second baseman Daniel Walsh. He'll be followed by the designated hitter Jack Scurfield, and then third baseman Brody Garner. The scheduled batters here in the top of the seventh, as the first pitch from Zach Budden is in there, called strike one. Pitch outside, ball one. Budden winds, sweeping breaking ball way outside, as Budden acknowledges by tapping on his chest to his catcher Carnazzo, that was my bad. So 2 balls, 1 strike to Walsh. Panthers batting in the top of the seventh inning. 6 runs, 12 hits, 3 errors for the Panthers. 4 runs, 4 hits, 1 error. As Walsh lays down a pearl bunt, third baseman Torres throws it. That one's up the right field line. And instead of putting it in his pocket and acknowledging the single by Walsh, he gifts him 90 feet on the throwing error. So a base hit bunt by Walsh on a 2-1 count. Placed perfectly between the pitcher and the third baseman Torres, and Torres sails it up the right field line. And now Walsh at second base. That brings up the designated hitter, Jack Scurfield. So let's see how the Panthers and Coach Sullivan play it here with Walsh already in scoring position. Nobody out. Let's see if they try to advance him on a sacrifice by Scurfield. And then you have the sac fly that comes into play, plus the Bulldogs probably go infield in here in the top of the seventh. And indeed, Scurfield does show bunt, as Zach Budden stares down for the sign. So the second error of the ball game committed by the Bulldogs, the 13th hit recorded by the Panthers on the bunt. And that's one of those that the bunt was placed so perfectly. I was surprised that Torres threw it. And a wild pitch by Budden, and Walsh is in the third base, and that takes the sacrifice off. And now Scurfield is going to hit the reset button. Now his approach is going to change depending on what the Bulldogs infield does. And again, I got to believe they're coming infield in, and sure enough, they do stay on the grass after that bunt defense rotation. So a big breaking ball by Budden, and Carnazzo unable to block it as it skipped away from him. And 90 feet, Walsh moves up to third base on the wild pitch. So infield in, Scurfield looking for something he can drive up the middle or lift into the outfield and get a sacrifice fly. Ground ball, Walsh is going to see it through here with nobody out. And another breaking ball, this one high and out of the zone. 2 balls, no strikes. Third baseman Brody Garner awaits his turn in the on-deck circle. Scurfield 0 for 3 here this afternoon. Flew out to center field his last time up. Budden sets the pitch. There's a fastball down and in, ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. If I was a betting man here, I'd say that Sullivan is giving Scurfield the take sign. He's going to make Budden throw a strike because he's been all over the place here in this at-bat. And sure enough, the take is on, and ball 4 issued to Scurfield. As the third baseman, Brody Garner, comes to the plate, so that'll shift the middle infield for the Bulldogs back, as it appears they're going to be willing to concede a run in favor of 2 outs potentially. So Scurfield at first, Walsh at third, and Brody Garner, the batter, 2 for 3 here this afternoon. The in-between bunt over towards the first base side, always in play. Probably not with no outs here, as Garner asks for time and steps out. Budden sets the waist. Breaking ball hits Garner, and he heads down to first base on the free pass issued by Zach Budden, as he's come a bit unglued here after the bunt, unable to find control of the strike zone and has lost his command. And left fielder Maimu Kobayashi coming to the plate. So Kobayashi bats with the bases loaded. And no trip to the mound. They leave Budden out there for the time being to face Kobayashi. Nobody down. Walsh at third. Scurfield at second. Garner at first. And Kobayashi the batter. Fastball's in there, called strike 1. So after 5 consecutive balls, Budden settles himself down, for the moment at least, with a first pitch strike to Kobayashi. Nowhere to put Kobayashi, as after the base hit bunt and the throwing error by Torres, Budden has worked himself into a jam. Issuing a free pass to Scurfield and then a hit by pitch. And a sweeping breaking ball swung on a miss by Kobayashi, and Budden ahead, no balls, 2 strikes. So for the Panthers, anything but a strikeout here. You want to force some action by the Bulldogs defense. Put a little pressure on them, as there's no room for error with no outs and the bases loaded. Budden sets. The 0-2 pitch is a fastball outside. It actually ran back closer to the plate than the catcher Danny Carnazzo wanted, as he had to backhand that catch. Carnazzo set up way outside. His inside knee probably off the outside of the plate. That's how far out Carnazzo was on that pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Zach Budden, the relief pitcher for the Bulldogs, sets. Breaking ball is up in the zone, and Budden reminds himself, get the ball down, get my arm down, finish my pitch, as he's left a couple breaking balls up this half inning. And the count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes to Maimu Kobayashi. Kobayashi just like Garner, also 2 for 3 here this afternoon. Zach Budden sets. A check on the runner at third, Walsh. The pitch. Fastball spray down to right field by Kobayashi. And that's going to score Walsh with nobody out. We're not going to gamble. We're going to leave the bases loaded as the third base coach, Drew Henning, holds up Skurfield as the right fielder, Cole Gabrielson, was charging that one. Not a hard hit ball by Kobayashi, but the ball was outside. He is able to flick it out to right field for an RBI single and add to that Panthers lead. Panthers now up 7-4. So that brings up the shortstop, number 12, Nick McClary. McClary 1 for 2 here this afternoon. Kobayashi now 3 RBIs in the ball game. Is down at first base. Moving up to second, Garner, and over at third base is Skurfield. Walsh already scored this half inning. And the fastball swung on and fouled straight back by McClary. So a good piece of hitting by Kobayashi. And again, the worst thing for the Panthers would have been a strikeout. And that's the benefit of shortening up, put the ball in play, and good things happen as he flares one out to right, does Kobayashi. And the bases remain juiced with McClary, the batter. No balls, 1 strike. Pitch is high, out of the zone, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. McClary takes a look at Coach Sullivan for the offensive signs. McClary back in, ready to go. Budden has this sign from Carnazzo. The 1-1 pitch is a fastball high, ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. To the number 9 man in the order for the Panthers. In the on-deck circle, leadoff man Dan Sayre. As the Panthers 7 runs on 14 hits. 3 errors. For the Bulldogs, 4 runs, 4 hits, 2 errors. So a little bit different than yesterday's game where the hits were hard to come by as that fastball is down and outside, and able to scoop it on the backhand is Carnazzo to ensure no wild pitch. But the count tilted in McClary's favor. Now 3 balls, 1 strike. Again, the Bulldogs lead this best-of-3 series 1-0. They won yesterday, scored 2 in the top of the 9th to beat the Panthers 3-2. Right now, the Panthers trying to force a decisive Game 3, which we play tomorrow right here at Union Stadium at 1 p.m. The Panthers would be the home team for that decisive third game. Fastball outside, ball 4, free pass issued, RBI walked by McClary, and that brings up the center fielder, Dan Sayre. So for the Bulldogs, they call on the right-hander, number 25, Nino Bartolome. This is his 12th appearance of the year. Just 9.1 innings of work. 5.93 earned run average, no wins, one loss. And he's put into a jam here as the bases are loaded. Nobody out, and top of the order, Dan Sayre, the batter. First pitch is in there, called strike one. Bulldogs middle infield playing back, bases loaded. Now trailing 8-4 here in the top of the seventh inning. His fastball is in there, called strike two. That ball on the outer half of the plate. And Sayre now behind, no balls, two strikes. So in 10 innings, an upset. Los Medanos has knocked off the 3-seed Santa Rosa Bear Cubs 2-1. That final today in 10 innings. And breaking ball out of the zone, ball one. So with the 2-seed Feather River falling last week and now the 3-seed Santa Rosa falling this weekend, Panthers just need to finish this one out, close it out, take care of business tomorrow, and they would be back at Union Stadium next weekend for a NorCal sectional final matchup, another 3-game series. But right now, let's finish this one. Game two, swung on a miss by Sayre as he goes down on strikes for the first out of the half inning, and that brings up the right fielder, Anthony Galati. So Anthony Galati, 2 for 4 here this afternoon. Pair of singles, pair of strikeouts. And Bartolome now pitching with one out, bases remain loaded. McClary at first, Kobayashi at second, Garner at third. And the first pitch to Galati is out of the zone, ball one. The update from the other NorCal Super Regional, Fresno City has beat Ohlone 6-2. So that series will go a decisive third game tomorrow as Ohlone thumped Fresno City yesterday 18-6. And the Rams come back, get revenge on the Renegades 6-2 in today's ball game. So the top seed Mustangs sweep the Casunas River Hawks. The 8 seed Los Medanos Mustangs sweep the number 3 seeded Santa Rosa Bear Cubs. And Fresno City and Ohlone going to decisive third game tomorrow. And that's what the Panthers are hoping for as well. Currently leading 8-4, trailing this 3-game series 1-0 here in the top of the seventh. As Galati sends one out to center field, Flores drifting over to his right. That should be enough to score Garner. They're definitely going to test him. Up 4 runs, throws up the line as Garner slides in ahead of Carnazzo. And the sacrifice fly is recorded by Galati. He does his job, so he'll remain 2 for 4 as he adds an RBI to his line total for the day. Panthers now lead 9-4. Here comes the catcher, Kevin Sines. So 2 outs. Kevin Sines the batter. Runners at first and second. Three runs across here in the top half of the seventh inning. As Nino Bartolome has his sign. The pitch is a fastball. Foul down the third base line. Kevin Signs back in. No balls, one strike. Bartolome looks to Carnazzo for the sign. Check on Kobayashi at second base, and Bartolome steps off. A 1 pitch is a slider outside. Count 1 ball, 1 strike to the 3-man in the Panthers order, Kevin Signs. The only other game still in progress down in Southern California. Riverside has come back to tie Mount San Antonio 8-8. That game also in the top of the 7th inning as that breaking ball misses into Signs. Two balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Clary at first, Kobayashi at second. The pitch is a fastball on the outside corner, called strike 2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bartolome sets the pitch. Swung on and missed by Signs, his 3rd strikeout of the afternoon, but the Panthers score 3. They now lead the Bulldogs 9-4. It's time to stretch at the U. We're headed to the bottom of the 7th inning. So for the Bulldogs here in the bottom half of the 7th inning, 3-4-5 as TJ Smith back out to work. Carnazzo, the Bulldogs catcher, looks at a breaking ball high out of the zone, ball 1. So Bulldogs lead this best of 3 series 1-0. Panthers leading game 2 9-4. Looking to get 9 more outs to force the decisive third game in the series tomorrow. As that fastball is in there, called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Smith working out of the stretch this half inning. Despite the clean slate, no runners on, as that curveball is blocked by Signs. 2 balls, 1 strike. Smith's fastball is fouled straight back out of Union Stadium. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Carnazzo. Carnazzo 1 for 3 here this afternoon. Smith sets at the belt. The pitch is another breaking ball smothered by Signs, and the count's full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Full count pitch upcoming to Carnazzo. From Smith is a fastball driven out to left field. Giving chase is Kobayashi, and this one's out of here for a home run. A solo shot by Carnazzo is how the bottom of the 7th starts on a 3-2 fastball, and Carnazzo got all of that one, as right away Kobayashi showed his numbers as he dead sprint to the fence, and that one landed on the portable science buildings beyond the left field fence here at Union Stadium. So 1 run in for the Bulldogs, nobody out on the solo shot, and 9-5 is the score. Panthers still leading. That brings up the third baseman for the Bulldogs, Justin Torres. So you're TJ Smith. You did exactly what you wanted to do there. You wanted to make Carnazzo earn it. No free passes with a 9-4 lead. And earn it he did, as Carnazzo sent it over the left field fence for the 5th hit of the afternoon here at with the Bulldogs. Smith behind 1 ball, now 2 balls. No strikes to Justin Torres. As activity and movement down in the Panthers bullpen. Smith a deep breath. Wiggles the glove, sets at the belt. The 2-0 pitch to Torres is just inside, says home plate umpire Brian Rose. So Smith, after the home run, now behind 3 balls, no strikes. Now home plate umpire Brian Rose has some words of encouragement for catcher Kevin Signs, as Signs did not agree with that and probably verbally displayed his displeasure, as prior to dusting off the plate, home plate umpire had some words with him. And that ball's in there, called strike 1, as Signs framed it so Rose could get a good look at it. 3 balls, 1 strike. Fastball skied high. Kevin Signs moving under it in foul territory on the halo. And the first out of the inning is recorded as Smith battles back from a 3-0 count to get Torres for the first out of the inning. So that brings up the shortstop, number 22, Alec Ackerman. Ackerman 0 for 1 with a strikeout in the first. Did reach base with a walk in the 4th and a hit by pitch in the 5th. And breaking ball is off the plate, ball 1. Pitch by Smith is a fastball in there called strike one. TJ Smith, the 1-1 pitch. Sweeping breaking ball off the plate, ball two. 2 balls, 1 strike. To the fifth hitter in the Bulldogs order. In the on-deck circle, designated hitter Cole Sperling. Fastball is fouled down the right field line, out of play. And the count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. So Ackerman back in the box, ready to go. He awaits the 2-2 pitch from Smith. For Carnazzo on the Bulldogs, just his second homer of the season as he led off the bottom of the 7th with a solo blast to left field. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fouled into the netting here above the Panthers dugout on the first base side of Union Stadium. As the wind begins to howl a little bit more here at Union Stadium, blowing across as it usually does from center to left. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed as Ackerman pulled his front side out on the inside changeup by Smith, and Signs hangs on for the second out of the inning. Ackerman now 0 for 2 with 2 punch-outs. So that brings up the designated hitter number 8, Cole Sperling. Sperling, the last batter that Smith has yet to face. He came in after Sperling's last at-bat, relieving Costu. And the first pitch to Sperling is a called strike one. Smith's fastball inside, gets away from Signs, and the count even, 1 ball, 1 strike. So also in the bottom of the 7th down in Southern California, Mount San Antonio and Riverside still tied 8-8. And called strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Smith now ahead of the designated hitter Sperling. So the Panthers and Bulldogs, the lone action going on here in Northern California. And the Mounties and the Tigers, the lone action in Southern California, as all other games have gone final. And breaking ball gets away from Signs, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Panthers leading game 2, 9-5. Panthers a visiting team. Bulldogs down to 7 outs. Another off-speed pitch, this one high out of the zone by Smith. So the count runs full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Fastball in on the hands, fouled off by Sperling, and he stays alive. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The full count pitch by Smith is a breaking ball high out of the zone. And the base on balls is issued to Sperling. That brings up the center fielder, Anthony Flores. So the center fielder, number 10, Anthony Flores, comes in to the box with Sperling down at first base. 2 away here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Smith sets the pitch, fastball fouled down, straight back and in front of the Bulldogs dugout here on the third base side of Union Stadium. So in Southern California, Orange Coast, the top seed, swept number 12 Long Beach. They advance to next weekend's SoCal Finals. And the number 4 seed, Glendale, sweeps the number 7 seed, San Diego Mesa. They had to go 11 innings to win game 1 yesterday. Win easily today, 12-3, as that fastball misses high. So 2 have stamped their way to the SoCal Finals. 1 game still in progress. Riverside and Mount San Antonio, and El Camino and Cypress, the 2 11 seeds respectively, going to decisive third game tomorrow. 1-1 pitch from Smith. It's a fastball high. As Signs bluffs Sperling back. Does not throw. And in the north, 2 teams have also stamped their ticket to the finals. Top seeded Delta Mustangs and the number 8 seed Los Medanos Mustangs, as they upset the Santa Rosa Bear Cubs. Ohlone Fresno City going to decisive third game. And the Panthers looking to go decisive third game, leading game 2 of this series 9-5. Smith behind, 3 balls, 1 strike to Flores. Flores 1 for 3 this afternoon. Trying to keep the line moving for the Bulldogs. And again, if you're Smith, you want Flores to earn it. No more free passes like the one issued to Sperling. And unfortunately, that's what is done, as here comes Coach Sullivan, undoubtedly with the hook to get a new pitcher in there. As the leadoff homer, then Smith able to get 2 outs and then 2 base on balls issued. And that will be it for Smith. We'll step away and be right back. So for the Panthers, it's Christian McInerney called upon to close out the bottom half of the 7th inning. And for the Bulldogs, they go to the bench as well. And a pinch hitter for Daniel Haberern is yesterday's starting pitcher, Sean Prozell, the two-way player. And he's behind no balls, one strike. And breaking ball is sent out to left field. Giving chase is Kobayashi. And he finally settles under it for the third out as Kobayashi fires it back in. So the Panthers give up one on the home run, but they still lead 9-5. We're headed to the top of the 8th inning. So new pitcher into the ballgame for the Bulldogs. And the first fastball he throws to Wheeler is inside ball one. So number 17, Oscar Leap, the left-handed thrower, just 5 2/3 innings of work, 8.65 earned run average. This is 10th appearance. Probably just a lefty-lefty matchup for the Bulldogs and Coach Doug Williams as he falls behind the left-handed hitting Wheeler. 2 balls, no strikes. In the on-deck circle, the right-handed hitting Daniel Walsh. 2-0 pitch is a fastball up and in, ball 3. Limited action on the season by Leap. And he's put into a big spot here. Lefty-lefty matchup. Start of the 8th inning, trying to keep his team in this game, already trailing by 4 runs, down 9-5. And on a 4-pitch walk, Wheeler heads down to first base, and that brings up the second baseman, Daniel Walsh. So the Panthers lift Wheeler. They put in number 24, Noah McCoy, to pinch run at first base as Daniel Walsh comes up to bat. And the lefty Leap stays in the ballgame for now to face the right-handed hitting Walsh. Got a left-hander and Jack Scurfield on deck. So maybe 3 batters slated for Leap here in this half inning. As that fastball is in there, called strike 1. That flag blowing good. Directly towards the left foul pole. Again, wind blowing from center to left. As that fastball is swung on and missed by Walsh. And he's behind no balls, 2 strikes, as McCoy had a fake breakover at first base. Scrambles back. So no balls, 2 strikes. Walsh has the sign from Coach Sullivan. He's back into the box, ready to battle Leap. And the 0-2 pitch. It's a fastball the other way. Walsh beats it into the ground to the second baseman, and they're able to get the lead runner McCoy, but unable to get a handle on it is Ackerman, and so no throw to first base as Walsh reaches on the fielder's choice. 6-4, McCoy put out at second for the first out. So Coach Sullivan sends Scurfield out there and then pulls him back to put a right-handed hitting John Papa Pietro to face the lefty. As Papa bats with 1 out, Walsh at first here in the top half of the 8th inning. And a fastball way outside, ball 1, as Carnazzo again slides out of his crouch to prevent the wild pitch. So Papa Pietro, the 1-0 pitch from Oscar Leap, is a fastball drilled. Ackerman diving backhand on the line drive by Papa Pietro. Good hard contact by the pinch hitter, Papa Pietro, and a great play by Ackerman diving to his backhand side to record the out as Walsh scampers back to first. And that brings up the third baseman, Brody Garner, batting with 2 outs in the inning. Walsh at first base. Leap the fastball outside, just off the plate, says home plate umpire Brian Rose. And Garner had 1 ball, no strikes. Garner having himself a fine game here this afternoon. 2 for 3, a single, a double. Hit by pitch, 3 runs scored. As a check on Walsh by Leap is he's back in safely ahead of the tag. One 0 pitch by Leap is swung on and missed by Garner, and the count's even 1 ball, 1 strike. So again, this is game 2 of the NorCal Super Regional Playoff Best of 3 series, in which the Bulldogs lead 1-0, having won yesterday's opener 3-2. Lead the series 1-0. And the Panthers leading game 2 here 9-5 as that fastball is waved on and missed by Garner. Now he's behind 1 ball, 2 strikes to the left-handed throwing Leap. So should the Panthers hold on here and win, they will force the decisive 3rd game of this series tomorrow afternoon. First pitch at 1 p.m. here at Union Stadium. The Panthers would again be the home team in tomorrow's game. Batting as the visitors here on the top of the 8th, and the 1-2 pitch is high and wide, ball 2. I'll update you on the only other game going on is Mount San Antonio and Riverside, they're in the bottom of the 8th, still tangled up at 8. Mount San Antonio leads that series at Riverside, 1-0. And Walsh is off and running as that pitch is fouled out of play over the first base seating here at Union Stadium. And Walsh heads back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The count remains 2 outs, top of the 8th. Panthers 9 runs, 14 hits, 3 errors. For the Bulldogs, 5 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors. As Leap sets at the belt. Check on Walsh. The pitch to Garner is a breaking ball in the dirt. Carnazzo unable to scoop it, but did knock it and keep it in front of him. And now Walsh will be off and running. Full count, 2 outs. As the pinch hitter, Sean Roselle, yesterday's starting pitcher, remained in the game to play first base after his pinch hit last inning. And he's now behind Walsh. The pitch is a line drive to the second baseman, and the ball drops into Oda's glove for the 3rd out of the inning. And the Bulldogs are able to put a 0 up. The Panthers still lead 9-5. We're headed to the bottom of the 8th. So for the Panthers, here are some defensive changes to start the bottom half of the 8th inning. As McInerney is back out to work to face 9-1-2 in the Bulldogs order. Starting off with the right fielder, Cole Gabrielson. Brett Bello into the game in the 2 spot in the order for Anthony Galati, as he's behind the dish doing the catching, and Kevin Sines moves from behind the dish out to right field. So the first pitch to Gabrielson is right down Broadway, called strike 1. Gabrielson, the right-handed batter against the lefty McInerney, and this one sent out to center field. Plenty of room here at Union Stadium for Sayre to cruise under it for the first out of the ball game on a fly out to deep left center field, probably about 10 feet in front of the warning track here at Union Stadium. And that brings up the leadoff man, Christian Ontai. So for the Panther faithful, 5 outs away. Any way you can get them, you're counting down 5. Holding on to a 9-5 lead here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. And lefty-lefty matchup, McInerney to Ontai. Fastball low and away, ball 1. McInerney the set. The 1-0 pitch is high out of the zone, ball 2. So for McInerney, just as Smith wanted to do last inning, it's challenge, challenge, challenge. Especially when you fall behind, you don't want to issue any free passes. Panthers have done enough of that here this afternoon as the Bulldogs have 5 runs on just 5 hits. As that one fills up the zone, strike one. McInerney wipes. Has the pitch he wants. The pitch to Bello is a breaking ball, and this one sprayed down the left field line. Drifting foul out of play, and the count even 2 balls, 2 strikes. So for the Panthers pitching here this afternoon, 9 free passes, 6 base on balls issued, 3 hit batters. And that pitch is hit out into left center field, tailing towards Kobayashi as he camps under it for the second out of the inning. Another fly ball in the left center gap. This one more towards left field, the last one more towards center. And that brings up the 2-man in the order, J.J. Oda. So fly out to center, fly out to left. And Oda steps in with 2 down here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. So of those 9 free passes, only 1 scored. And that was the leadoff batter Ontai in the first inning. He walked, would come around to score on a wild pitch. The other 2 gift runs the Panthers gave them were errors. 2 runners had reached on an error in the 5th. Throwing error by the first baseman Wheeler, and a fielding error by the second baseman Walsh. Both those runners came around in the 5th to score, so 3 gifted runs to the Bulldogs from the Panthers as McInerney is quickly ahead, no balls, 2 strikes to J.J. Oda. As the shadows start to creep out across the plate and towards the pitcher's mound here at Union Stadium. This one's fouled out of play over the bullpen for the Panthers on the first base side of Union Stadium. The count remains no balls, 2 strikes. Good job by Oda fouling that one away. Pitch that was away in the zone. And an update in Southern California in the bottom of the 8th. Mount San Antonio has scored 2. They lead 10-8 over Riverside. Again, Mount Sac leading that series 1-0. Lazy curveball hit out to center field. Sayre comes in on it. He's got it. And the Panthers are 3 outs away from forcing a decisive Game 3 tomorrow. They're leading 9-5. We're headed to the top of the 9th. So for the Panthers in the top half of the ninth inning, 8-9-1 Kobayashi, McClary, and Sayre. And they'll face a new Bulldog hurler in number 11, Ryan Fleming. Fleming a 10.59 earned run average. This is 10th appearance of the season, just 10 and 2/3 inning of work. And he falls behind 1 ball, no strikes to the Panthers left fielder Kobayashi. The line pitched by Fleming is swung on a miss by Kobayashi, and the count even 1 ball, 1 strike. Pitch a breaking ball, called strike 2. And Kobayashi behind 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fleming looks hard into Carnazzo for the sign. He's got it, the wind. There's a breaking ball down and in, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kobayashi looking to reach base the 4th time here this afternoon. Has 3 singles, 3 RBIs, and is 3 for 4. And 1 hopper to the shortstop. Ackerman, as the first baseman Prozell fell down, and Kobayashi legged it out. That's going to be ruled an infield single, as Ackerman couldn't throw the ball with the first baseman on the ground. And that brings up the shortstop, Nick McClary. So the 1 hopper to Ackerman should have been an easy 6-3, but Prozell fell down. Not sure if he tripped on the base or what happened, but Ackerman had to pump, as he obviously couldn't throw the ball to his first baseman, who wasn't looking as he was on the ground, as McClary sacrifices Kobayashi up 90 feet on the 5-3 sac bunt. I don't know that we can give Prozell an error, as he didn't have the ball. So it goes down as an infield single for Kobayashi. He is now at second base on the sacrifice bunt by McClary, and the lineup rolls over for the Panthers as Sayre steps in. And in the on-deck circle, Brett Bello, who replaced Galati in the order and caught last half inning, awaits his turn. As Sayre's out on front, and this ball's popped up, and it's taken by the pitcher Fleming for the second out. So for the Panthers, one more crack at bringing Kobayashi in, and it'll be Brett Bello. So Brett Bello, his first plate appearance here. Looking to hang another run on the board. And the fastball inside, called strike 1. Pitch is a breaking ball, just down and in. Ball 1. High fly ball into foul territory, and it's an error as Prozel drops the ball in foul territory. And Prozel is having a tough half inning as he tripped earlier on what was ruled an infield single, and the ball hit to Ackerman, the one hopper. Again, not sure how he tripped, whether he tripped on the base. And this one, he appeared to have a beat on the ball, was standing there, and the ball appeared to miss most of the glove as it fell right down in front of him. And now Prozel is asking for a little bit more of the treatment from the Panthers dugout, as he was right in front of the Panthers dugout when that ball was dropped. So another error charge to the Bulldogs on the dropped foul ball. And the Bulldogs should have been out of this half inning, so everything from here will be an unearned run as Bello just misses a ball inside the third base line, just on the foul side of third base. Goes into left field. And the count remains 1-2 strikes. Bello in search of RBI number 14 right here for the Panthers. It just looks so much cleaner with that 10 in the runs column out there on the scoreboard from the Panthers' perspective. Pitch swung on and fouled off again by Bello. This one off the netting out of the stadium over the press box. Pitch by Fleming, swung on and missed, big breaking ball, and we're headed to the bottom of the ninth. The Panthers leading 9-5, 3 outs away. So for the Bulldogs here in the bottom half of the ninth inning, 3, 4, 5, Carnazzo, Torres, and Ackerman, the scheduled batters. Panthers up 9-5 as McInerney back to work, and the first pitch is outside ball 1. Pitch just missed outside ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. McInerney needs a challenge pitch right here to Carnazzo, and it's in there called strike 1. So 2 balls, 1 strike. You wonder if this situation the Bulldogs are taking a strike down 4. They need base runners. And for McInerney and the Panthers, counting down the outs, 3 outs, nothing free, everything earned this half inning. And the pitch fouled back into the netting and in front of the Panthers dugout here on the first base side of Union Stadium. So an update down in Southern California. The Mounties of Mount Sac hang a 4 spot in the bottom half of the 8th inning on Riverside. Riverside down to their last 3 outs. And the pitch. Breaking ball in there, called strike 3, and Carnazzo doesn't like it. But the first out of the inning on a backwards K by McInerney. Well, it's a final in Southern California. Another team moving on to the SoCal finals is Mount San Antonio as they go into Riverside and upset the Tigers. Mount San Antonio, the 8 seed, Riverside, the 3 seed, so both 3 seeds falling in the north and the south here today as Santa Rosa fell in the north to number 8 Los Medanos. So both 8 seeds advance in the north and the south. The 0-1 pitch by McInerney is a breaking ball in there, called strike 2. And that ball started at Torres' front hip and broke in nicely. The lefty-lefty matchup as Torres unable to pull the trigger, now behind, no balls, 2 strikes. McInerney sets the 0-2 pitch, another breaking ball, this one outside, and Torres doesn't offer at it. Good pitcher's pitch with 2 strikes, looking for a chase, swing by Torres, but no. And the count 1 ball, 2 strikes. McInerney sets the pitch. Fastball on the outside, car to the plate, called strike 3. And McInerney, 2 backward strikeouts to start the bottom of the 9th, and the Bulldogs down to their last out. And that brings up the shortstop, number 5 batter, Alec Ackerman. Ackerman already a pair of strikeouts here this afternoon, based on balls and a hit by pitch. This is his 5th plate appearance as McInerney sets. The first pitch to the right-handed hitting shortstop is a fastball inside, called strike 1. So it does look like the Bulldogs are indeed taking a strike. And now Ackerman, no balls, 1 strike. Panthers 2 strikes away from forcing a decisive Game 3 of this series tomorrow right here at Union Stadium. First pitch, 1 p.m. The 0-1 pitch is a changeup in the dirt. And Bello unable to block it as it got the home plate umpire on the face mask. And the count 1 ball, 1 strike. McInerney looks into Bello for the sign. He has what he wants. The set. The 1-1 pitch by McInerney. Another fastball. This one blocked by Bello. And the count tilts to Ackerman's favor. 2 balls, 1 strike. McInerney the pitch. This one hammered foul by Ackerman. Two pitch to Ackerman is outside, ball 3. As the groans from the Panthers side of the Union Stadium, as they wanted that one. Definitely a ball up and out. Of course, that's how it is in these situations. Breaking ball by McInerney and a free pass issued to Ackerman. And that brings up the designated hitter, Cole Sperling. So this game now 4 hours old, as the shadow is nearly at McInerney's feet on the rubber. So the ball still coming into the shadows from his release point. And the Panthers conceding second base to Ackerman. And Bello decides to throw down anyways. Off the glove McClary, and it kicks over to Walsh, but the fastball is in there, called strike one. So Ackerman moves up to second base on a defensive indifference, as they were not holding, they were conceding second base. McInerney sets the belt. The pitch is a fastball outside, ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike. McInerney sets. Lefty-lefty matchup. The pitch to Sperling is a breaking ball, called strike 2. As that one caught the front outside corner of the plate. And the Bulldogs once again down to their final strike, as Sperling steps back in. Sperling right on top of the plate for the Bulldogs. 1-2 count. Challenging McInerney to throw it in there. And the breaking ball spoiled by Sperling over near the Bulldogs bullpen on the third base side. And the count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the ninth, Panthers lead 9-5. Needing just 1 more strike, 1 more out to force the series' decisive third game tomorrow. McInerney sets. The pitch is a fastball up and outside, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. McInerney looks into Bello for the sign. Ackerman with his lead at second base. The 2-2 pitch by McInerney to Sperling. He has a fastball low and outside, and the count runs full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So full count to the designated hitter. Takes his time getting back into the box. McInerney's pitch is fouled off by Sperling. A good fastball outside. Sperling had to swing and protect. Again, Sperling right on that plate. And he fouls it out of Union Stadium over the third base seating. So the count remains 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the ninth inning. McInerney sets. The pitch is a breaking ball high, ball 4, as Sperling heads down to first base on back-to-back walks by McInerney after the back-to-back strikeouts that started this half inning. And that brings up the center fielder, Anthony Flores. Oh, breaking ball just missed high. And that brings up the center fielder, Anthony Flores. Now 2 aboard. McInerney sets. The pitch is a fastball in there called strike one on the outside part of the plate. So McInerney had no balls, one strike to the Bulldogs center fielder. Off-speed pitch that just kept running away, arm side for McInerney, away from Flores, and he waved at it and missed. And McInerney ahead, no balls, two strikes. McInerney sets. No check of the runners. The 0-2 pitch is inside, nearly hits Flores. Has Sign slides to his knees to get that ball and prevent a wild pitch. But I don't understand how Flores moved out of the way of that one. That ball probably hits him if he just stands there. So the 1-2 pitch upcoming from McInerney. He has the sign from Bello. Ackerman at second, Sperling at first. The 1-2 pitch, fouled off the netting here above the Panthers dugout and out of the stadium. And the count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. A lot different pace of play here in today's ball game than in yesterday's, but of course a lot more hits as well. Hits were tough to come by. Yesterday combined total 11 hits. Today Panthers 15 hits alone. And the 1-2 pitch from McInerney is a breaking ball, skied high, drifting into foul territory, giving chase as McCoy. McCoy has it in front of the bullpen gate here at Union Stadium, and that's the ball game. The Panthers win 9-5. We'll have a decisive game 3 tomorrow at 1 p.m. We'll be right back with a post-game wrap-up. So 4 hours and 8 minutes later, fans, the Panthers have done it. They've staved off elimination and forced a decisive third game of this NorCal Super Regional Playoff Series tomorrow right here at Union Stadium on the campus of Sacramento City College by winning today's ball game 9-5. Panthers 9 runs, 15 hits, 3 errors. They improved to 31-12 overall. Winning pitcher today in relief, TJ Smith, his record 6-3. The save goes to Christian McInerney. That's his 4th of the season. For the Bulldogs, 5 runs on 5 hits, 3 errors. With the loss, the Bulldogs fall to 31-13 overall. Today's losing pitcher, the starter, Jamie Kruger, his record 7-5. Again, Game 3, as this series is tied 1-1, will be played tomorrow, with the winner advancing to next weekend's NorCal Sectionals and the North Finals. Again, should the Panthers prevail tomorrow, they will be hosting that next 3-game series, the NorCal Finals. as the number 3 seeded Bear Cubs were knocked off by the 8 seed Los Medanos Mustangs today. We'll be back tomorrow with live streaming video and audio for those of you that can't join us here in Sacramento, California at Union Stadium. Be sure to follow us online with all of the live action in the decisive Game 3. This is Steve Gill signing off. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow.